What's up, YouTube? Timmons here. Here is my throwback segment, pretty much my first throwback segment of the new year, where I talk about the films that turns 10, 20, 30, and 40 this week. Not really a whole lot to go by here, but the films turning 10 is Woman in Black 2. The first Woman in Black, which had Daniel Radcliffe, was actually okay, but they did do a sequel, which really forgettable. This is, of course, we're like 40 years after the first haunting in El Marsh house. A group of kids evacuate from World War II London, arrives awakening the house's darkest inhabitants. And I remember watching this one in theaters. It was horrible. This was actually the first movie I actually saw in the new year that time. And it wasn't so good. Like again, I really quite like the first one. The first one was actually pretty decent, but this one just didn't do anything for me. It wasn't all that scary. The acting wasn't all that great. Yeah, sometimes like there'll be a horror film that gets released in January that could be good, like let's say a Megan or Scream 5. But then there's also films like The Woman in Black 2, and this one was definitely terrible. All right, also turning 10 is A Most Violent Year, which is directed by J.C. Chandler, who just recently put out Craven the Hunter, which was abysmal. The film stars Oscar Isaac as this supplier who tries to adhere to his moral compass amid the rampant of violence, corruption, and decay that threaten his family. It also stars the likes of Jessica Chastain, David Aiello, Albert Brooks. It's such a shame Craven the Hunter was terrible. Reason why I was really interested in Craven the Hunter is because of the director itself. Like J.C. Chandler, did some really good stuff before. Like, he also did Margin Core. He also did, Triple Frontier, and The Most Violent Year was another one of his good films. And this was actually pretty decent. Great performances by Chastain, by Isaac, Alexandra Nivola, who was also just in Craven the Hunter. He was pretty good in this. Albert Brooks was always great. I mean, really decent film if you guys haven't seen it. And I really hope the Craven the Hunter failure does not hurt his career because he is a really good director. All right. Also, now turning 20 this week, we got the Assassination of Richard Nixon, which starred the likes of Sean Penn, Don Cheadle, Naomi Watts, and it's based on a story of a would-be assassin, Samuel Bike, who applied to take out Nixon in 1974. And this was a really decent film. Sean Penn was really good. Don Cheadle, Naomi Watts was pretty decent. Crazy to believe this actually did happen. All right, also turning 20 is In Good Company, which was directed by Paul Weitz, who recently put out that terrible horror film Afraid, which was horrible. This starred the likes of Dennis Quaid, Topher Grace, Scarlett Johansson, Clark Gregg, Ty Burrell, John Cho. And it's where, like, after years of working as an ad executive at a sports magazine, Dan Foreman, played by Quaid, is demoted and replaced with Carter Daria, played by Topher Grace, who's a rising star in the business who is a young enough to be Dan's son, and Carter's business style leaves Dan shaking his head and wondering if this young man is ready to be the corporate world. And Dan's like, life is further complicated when he learns that his wife is pregnant and Carter is dating his daughter, played by Scarlett Johansson. And it's actually a nice little film. Dennis Quaid, was pretty good. Topher Grace, Scarlett Johansson was really good in this too. So really decent flick to say the least. All right, also turning 20 is A Long Song for Bobby Long, which stars the likes of John Travolta, Scarlett Johansson, Gabriel Mock. It is actually based on a story with John Travolta playing the Todd character who's an aging alcoholic, and Scarlett Johansson is this headstrong woman who returns to New Orleans. And pretty interesting that Scarlett Johansson had two films out that week. But A Long Song for Bobby Long is maybe one of like an underrated, underappreciated film here. John Travolta was terrific. Scarjo was great. Clay Crawford, who was in that Lethal Weapon series, he was pretty good in that too. Yeah, very underrated. I feel like not many people really talk about this a whole lot, but it's actually really decent little flick. All right. Also turning 20 is The Merchant of Venice, which is of course based on a play of the same name. where the title character is the merchant Antonio, played by Jeremy Irons, not the Jewish launderer Shylock, played by Al Pacino, who viewed as the antagonist. And the adaptation follows the text on but out amidst much and director Michael Radford pretty much believed that Shylock was Shakespeare's first grade tragic hero who reached the catastrophic due to his flaws. And that's not really. I mean, Al Pacino was okay, Jeremy Irons, but I was never really too big with this. This was a little boring, to be honest. It didn't really do anything for me, so can't really recommend that one. All right, also turning 30 this week, we got The Madness of King George, which is of course a biographical film from Nicholas Heitner, who gave us movies like The Crucible. And this, of course, is actually based on a play. It stars Niagara Hawthorne, Helen Mirren, Rupert Everett, Jim Carter, Rupert Graves, and it tells the true story of George III of Great Britain's deteriorating mental health and his equally declining relationship with his eldest son, the Prince of Wales. And not a bad little film here. You know, of course, Niagara Hawthorne was pretty good. Helen Mirren was great. Really decent story, really decent script, and really good little film. All right, now for turning 40, we got the film to scare. Not really a whole lot to really talk about the 4 year one. Like the only thing turning 40 here, we got Too Scared to Scream, which is like a horror film starring Ann Archer, Ian McShane, where a detective teams up with an undercover agent to investigate the murders of several women in Manhattan apartment house. And it's not really memorable. It's not really like those 1980s films that really gets talked about or anything. So, but that's pretty much it there. Let me lead you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? To me, the 10-year one is going to A Most Violent Year. The 20-year one is going to go to In Good Company. The 30 one is going to In the Madness of King George, and nothing with the 40-year one to be honest. Anyway, drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Tim.